right, you guys. You know what day it is? It is UFC 314 Fight Day. My goodness. Here we are with a little bit of a live hangout, a little Q&A stream. It's been a little minute. What? It's been since January since I've done a hangout. Since the GFL draft have we hopped on for one of these, and you know, this felt like a good day to do it for a good, exciting card. A lot of positivity in the air, a lot of hype whenever in Miami. So I figured we'd hang out for a little bit here as I'm just kind of chilling right now, you know, soaking in all of the anticipation, and also just doing my laundry and kind of stuck inside at the moment and needed something to do. So let's hang out, get hyped for the featherweight title fight tonight between Alexander Volkanovski, Diego Lopez in the main event. In the co-main, of course, Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett. The debut of Patricio Pitbull against Yair Rodriguez. My goodness, my goodness. Bryce Mitchell, Gian Silva. The list goes on and on. There's a lot of great fights. The main card, very, very excited for it. Very difficult, I think, to predict what's going to happen with this one. If you guys follow over at Uncrowned, of course, shameless plugs right out the gate here for the preview. I do the previews weekly for each event, and for this one, it was pretty difficult to kind of break down and make the decisions for the picks. I think I went a little bit of the safer route than as bold as normal, because now I'm sitting atop the throne as the the picks leader. So I kind of want to maintain the spot for longer than a week, but we'll see how it goes. It's not a massive deal. Just good old-fashioned bragging rights. Good fun in that regard. But we can talk about whatever, though. It doesn't just have to be UFC 314. That's obviously the hot topic. That is the day. That is the day today, which still, I don't think it's quite kicked in yet. It's been weird anticipation. But Ghost is here. What is up, buddy? And look at this. I think I fixed the chat box. You see this? I think it looks better. The white. Why did I not think for this setup for the streams to do the white on the dark background for the chat box? Because I'm a fucking idiot, I guess. But like any other color does not blend in with this background at all. The white looks good there. I'm not loving the pink, but it's okay. And disregard the hair as well. It's a little bit of a hair day, as it should be for UFC 314. But what is up, buddy? Good to see you, Ghost. I know I really sprung on the gaming chat last time, but here we are with Ghost kicking us off, though. Will Lopez make the analysis community sad? Shout out to Diego Lopez. I fucking love that guy. Everybody should love that guy. I think most people do love that guy. And I said this in my preview as well. Shameless plug. Go check it out on uncrowned.com if you want to see kind of full thoughts on there. And we can, of course, talk about him here right now, too. But Diego Lopez, my goodness. So with that question, Ghost, will he make the community sad? So when you ask that, I'm assuming him making the community sad would be him winning, right? Because I've seen Diego gets shit on by the analysis community in particular. And I even kind of called out, not really called out, but I saw a funny comment or a tweet like maybe a week or two ago. I don't know if you saw me respond to this, but I forget who it was even. Somebody said, like, I hate to admit it, you guys, but Diego Lopez, he's just not a good fighter. Like, you know, somebody was knocking Diego and said all this thing for whatever reasons that they have. As he says, the argument is that he lacks a lot of technical depth, but he also has stuff that matches up with Volk. Yeah, exactly. Which I get. Like, yeah, he's obviously not a very technical dude whatsoever, but he's getting the job done. And so it was just really funny to me. There was somebody who said, like, yeah, Diego Lopez just kind of sucks, and was really knocking him. And it's just, I get from right what you're saying with the technical aspects or things that maybe he doesn't do as well fundamentally as a lot of guys at the highest level. But those kind of comments to me are just hilarious because then it's like, okay, so this is just like a quick and easy way to say that 26 other dudes fucking suck because he beat them all and he's getting the title shot again. Realistically, one of these two guys in the featherweight title fight tonight, either Volkanovski or Lopez, I understand arguments for either side, right? But one of these guys should not be in the fight. One of these guys pretty objectively should not be in the fight, and I think there's a solid argument against either of them. But why we say that is because Movsar Evloev does exist. That guy he's getting the Magomed Ankalaev treatment at featherweight, and is very, very possibly a future champion if he can ever get his title shot. So with him existing, one of these two does not belong in the fight, and make your reasons for that. But yeah, with Diego, it's like he is objectively a good fighter. He knows how to win fights. He is good at fighting. Is his technique the best? I mean, clearly, I think we can say that that is not the case. But obviously, if you've watched MMA for longer than, I'm just going to say 5 years, which still might be too big of a window, that might be some serious leeway, then you will know that you don't always have to be the most technically proficient fighter to be the best fighter. I mean, Ghost, my man. I mean, let's look at freaking the middleweight champ, for example. Dracus du Plessis might be the greatest example of that in all of history. There's probably somebody I'm forgetting, but like he's a pretty good example. But there you go. Drop it in there. Ghost, let them know. I think I tagged both of the boys right there in my tweet, but you know, sometimes that doesn't work so well. But yeah, I'm super fascinated and super intrigued by the main event. Very excited for it. It's a very bittersweet one. I like both guys a lot. Love Diego Lopez. You know, have known him and followed him for a good while before the UFC, the Lux Fight League days. There he is. There's James Kendrick. What's up, buddy? How are you doing? Cheers to you on this UFC 314 fight day. And no, Ghost, this is not alcohol. This is my peach Celsius for the day. No sponsor, but they owe me one for how much we drink these things. What is up? Rio is here. Look at that. They came just right away. Just flocking. Here we are, boys, like good old days, right? Back in the WMMA Today days. We are working. Let me get some dust off of my other camera there. Working a little Q&A time. Figured why not? It's got some time to kill. As I said off the top, I just got my laundry going, so I'm chilling. I'm just killing time a little bit, hanging out. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in Memphis, but we're chilling inside right now. The pollen is out. We'll say that the pollen is out for UFC 314, but yeah. Oh, all right. So here we go. Ghost always, you guys lead me right into the goods pretty early. I love that. That's why we always have fun when we get on for these. But old Double D's latest LinkedIn post. So I saw one, Ghost. I saw somebody, because okay, so here's the thing with LinkedIn. Like I have one. Of course, I think everybody who works like on the internet should probably have a LinkedIn. Like even if you don't, it's a pretty good jobs, like social media hybrid type thing. But I don't ever go on it unless I'm like updating shit like about my positions, or if someone messages me, or a connection, whatever the hell it might be. So I don't ever see things on LinkedIn, right? Like I saw that there was Don made a LinkedIn post, today or something? And I saw it. Okay, Ghost tagged me. There was one I saw, so I can go to his actual page, but let me see. what Ghost has for me here. I'm looking at my other monitor. So yeah, this is the one. Okay. So I did see this. Unless there's another one, Ghost. But I did see this one. Let me drag it over to the screen in front of me here. All right. Let's take a gander at this guy real quick here again. So I did see this morning. It is so funny though. Shout outs to Jonathan of Kowloon. Right, that's his name, Jonathan. I want to be respectful and proper with getting the name right. Okay, yeah, it is Jonathan of Kowloon. I thought so. I mean, I followed that guy for years. With a great observation, really, and it is just kind of funny because just the similarities and like parallels, I guess, of how Don and Chatri, and I don't know what it is with the non-UFC organization leaders or people in charge, I guess. Why LinkedIn? Why is that the place I go to? I mean, with Chatri, let's go to him just real quick here. Guy loves Facebook too. I don't know if he still does his big ass wall posts of Facebook, but he used to do that a lot. So anyway, yeah, Don Davis is this is from a week ago actually. So unless this is his most recent one, let me just go. I want to look directly at the source now real quick, Ghost, but this screenshot is from a week ago from Don, but let me go to his actual profile. This still might be the last one. No, he has done a couple since then that are just kind of like whatever. I mean, he's giving out like advice and stuff. Props to him. We always appreciate that. And I'm seeing some notifications that I have now personally. But yeah, he's made some posts since then. But okay, that was like 2 weeks ago now. Let's just look at this one. He's talking about my weekend post on MMA/media rights. Last year, the entire sports business world talked about the NBA media rights renewal. This year, they should be the UFC media rights renewal, as it will have equal impact, and these are bolded words, equal impact on the media landscape. Winners and losers in the streaming wars will be determined by what happens with MMA media rights, UFC in 2025 and PFL in 2026. MMA is, so number 1 point, is the most streamed sport for the male 18 to 35 target demographic other than the NFL. This means that MMA customers, that sounds funny, doesn't it? Have the funniest lifetime value for streaming services. MMA, this is point 2. MMA is the only global sport. Yes, soccer is also global, but the soccer audience is divided among 8 leagues. MMA has only two premium provides in UFC and PFL. Streaming services want global rights. Point 3. MMA is the last major sport for renewal before streaming consolidation. Sports is the last key content to determine subscription and usage. There are 8 major streaming services today, and only 4 can survive. Weak will sell, strong will buy. Takeaway. The media company that secures UFC rights in 2025 and PFL rights in 2026 will be one of the winners in the streaming wars. Oh, I kind of just love the roundabout way to get there. I I gotta say this every time we talk about Don, right? You guys, like, I don't think he's a bad guy or anything like this whatsoever. And I've said, like, you know, he's been very, very kind to me in every interaction that we've had. And again, I think he is a good dude for sure. But obviously, the MMA business is still something he is figuring out. And I mean, he's doing his best to do what he's got to do and sell the PFL how he's got to sell it. But like, yeah, I do think he is a good guy. So I'm never one to knock his character because in my experience, he's fine and dandy. But what do we got here? All right, Rio going to the strawweight talk. Let's talk about the strawweight division. If Verna wins today, should she fight Weili and get absolutely demolished? Okay, we got the prediction thrown in there too. I see a lot of people saying that she could give Weili a hard time. They should test that theory like the Dern fans. So let's unpack a little bit there. Rio. I think that Verna would probably would match up better and do better against Whaley than Dern would. Maybe not by a lot, but I just think that kind of the technical aspects of her grappling are there more so than Dern. And she obviously sets things up better. She's a better wrestler with her, the takedowns. We always got to talk about that with Mackenzie Dern and her lack of the ability to even figure out how to do a takedown, even though she's slowly getting better finally and, managing to hit some in a nicer variety. But I do think Verna would fare a little bit better. Of course, I would not pick her at this point. But Verna, of course, one of the absolutely most brilliant grapplers among all the women. But if she wins, she's gotta fight for the title next. Like, no doubt about it. I think you could have even argued she should have got the title shot over Tatiana, but of course they didn't do that for the reasons. So yeah, I think Verna wins, title shot 100% no matter what. And that is even if it's not against Whaley, right? That depends on everything with the whole flyweight title possibility, because obviously I think like everybody involved wants to do that. Everybody wants to do Whaley versus Shevchenko for the flyweight title, champ versus champ. I'm here for it. Fine, sure, whatever. But Verna does deserve a shot, whether they do an interim title or if it was Whaley vacating, which Whaley hasn't sounded like she wants to vacate. Maybe Ghost can give us some insight there. But I think Verna's got to fight for the title next, no matter. Fight for a title, I guess. Again, like I said, interim, if they were to do that, first time ever it would be for a female division in the UFC, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, if she wins, I mean, no doubt about it. Especially if she finishes Xiaonan, that would be, come on. And James says the pick in the Discord is legendary. Thank you. Shout out to my buddy Zach. I think Octagon updates. I get him and another guy mixed up, so hopefully I'm not mixing them up. But that was his legendary photo, and he's got a couple other ones actually. So. All right. Let's see. Go says, why does he act like controlled opposition? Why does he act like controlled opposition to the UFC? Their promotions can't even seep up the cage in between rounds. I'm not sure what you're trying to say with that one. Ghost, shout out to Cedric Doumbé bringing a vacuum in his walkout. Oh, you mean sweep, I think? Sweep, yeah, you mean, okay, with the Doumbé shout. There you go. I think it's just like, again, a self-promotional tactic, because if you think about it this way, right, Ghost? Like if you knew nothing about fighting and this guy came to you and showed you the entire PFL product, like let's say he had a binder, right, or a slideshow, something to just be like, hey, check out what I got going on here. This is my thing. You've probably heard of the UFC. You might not know exactly what fighting is and MMA and that shit, but it's pretty mainstream now. You heard of this thing. If somebody came and showed you their product and your product is PFL, I think it wouldn't be too hard to convince a non-sports watcher of any kind, especially, fighting of any kind, to be like, okay, that looks pretty legit. And because you just have that complete ignorance of like, all right, the crowd looks a little bit, I can't see it very well. There's some things you might have questions about, but you don't know what exactly is good and what not. I mean, you might have an idea comparing to the UFC again, but I think you could get away with it. And that's essentially what he's doing, right? For the most part, he's telling people, all right, you have a very, very blanket idea of what this thing is, the best, biggest thing, the UFC. Here's my thing. We're pretty great too. We're about there. Wink, wink. Like, it's all, everything that Don does is a persuasive essay. There you go. That's what it is. I think that's the best way to put it. I hope I kind of was on the right track of what you were looking for there, Ghost, with the question. But, oh, man. All right. I'm getting through it here. James asking about the GFL. Asking about the GFL. The last Q&A stream I did was after the GFL fake fucking draft. Oh, man. I don't have too much more to add to it, honestly. I think I got most of my thoughts out after that happened because, I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. What do you want me to say? So here's in summary where I'm at, right? Because when the GFL repopped up, resurfaced this year with their intentions to debut and fully start and everything, and when I first heard of it and saw the names involved, right? This was like maybe a week before things came out. I was hearing these rumblings of like what is going on and who could be involved. I was like, oh, okay, so this is completely imaginary. Like, this is a literal video game attempt. You're trying to make a real life video game. I don't believe that for a second. I mean, so, I mean, there were names, and this happened during the draft. People who were drafted that were on other rosters. I mean, there were the same day, there were PFL guys that were fighting who were drafted, like, excuse me? And what, we got Sage Northcutt mentions here from, who mentioned Sage? Who mentioned Sage right here? Was it James? No, am I throwing Sage out? Never mind, I might be getting ahead of myself. Oh, no, he says it. I see the GFL drafting Sage Northcutt with Sage. Yeah, exactly, like that shit. That stupid shit. Of course I saw that, James. It was, I mean, I don't know what the fuck he was doing there. I mean, signing bonus. Guaranteed signing bonus for him, right? So I will say that's the only good thing that's come out of this. And I will finish my point after I take a sip. It's terrible. It fucking sucks. Because, and I tweeted about this the other day, but the whole thing to me, like, and again, I know a lot of people who are involved with it, like fighters, and I've spoken to many of them, as you guys know, who have gone there or were lured in, right? And the whole thing to me, and I don't mean this in like an offensive way or to knock them, because I know, especially the ones in particular that I know and have gotten to know, is like, they're not stupid people. They are not stupid people. But this whole GFL thing completely like blanket displays how stupid MMA fighters are as a whole, like in a blanket sense, right? I know that sounds terribly like offensive and rude, and I'm not meaning it that way, but it's the sense of like this thing that is so enticing and like gives you so much hope, but it's so unrealistic. It's like, how could you possibly buy into that? That's what I mean in that sense. And it's because of the hope, right? Hope is the worst fucking drug you can have, at least like in my opinion, right? I mean, hope has killed me many times over. I'm on who knows how many lives of that. Holding on to hope is a dangerous, dangerous game to play. But you get it. You get why you would have that feeling in MMA where there's just one place right now. There's only one place that can give you something. Not even what you really deserve. We're talking about the UFC, of course. But it'll give you the best that you can get in this sport. So, of course, you're going to gamble. You're going to take the risk, which is what all the fighters did. And that sucks, man. That sucks that you have to even do that, but you get it. You get why they would. But then it comes back to this. If it sounds too good to be true, probably fucking is. Probably fucking is. Listen to the gut, and what do you know? Here we are now. So, like I said, the only good thing to come out of that is like the fighters who did get signing bonuses, which were some, definitely not all of them, and some of them wasted their time, and some have gotten out, like Jeremy Stevens. Man, what a lucky guy that he's been. I don't know if he got a signing bonus too, but like to go from winning his BKFC fight and then getting a shot in the UFC again, coming back, excuse me. It's like this whole thing, if anybody knows anything and been around the sport for, I mean, again, we can go back to the 5-year window. That, I mean, for this, I don't know. You'd have to go back to another organization being around. It's like you had to know, anybody with eyes had to know that this was an illusion. There was just zero chance that it was ever going to happen. And, you know, they're still saying that it might happen, but I'm not believing that. And if it does, it's going to look a whole lot different, as I got something in my eye now, so that's fun. Oh, okay. Going back to the Don stuff, not a bad guy. He had that girl going into coma, making your life hard to cover it, and people blamed you for it. That is true. That did happen. Yes, that is very true. And I haven't spoken to him about that, like, personally or anything, but yeah, that was kind of shitty, huh? That did suck. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that regarding that specific situation with that, because like from what he did say publicly, it sounded like the intentions were good. They were just handled wrong. And now that is me playing complete devil's advocate, right? Which I should probably not do. Again, for the reasons you said, Ghost, but I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt, but you make a good point. You know, I appreciate you sticking up for me there. I pretty much, I attacked myself with that, didn't I? Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was fucking dumb. That was shitty times. Not shitty, just annoying. It was very fucking annoying. Rio says, going to glaze her team a little bit, but Whaley comes in with specialized game plans. The more a Varena's problem than it is a Whaley problem. No? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's absolutely no secret whatsoever that Verena is what she wants to do each and every time out there, right? Like she's, I guess the female Damian Maia is the best way to put it. I've never really loved that comparison, but I mean, I guess it's pretty accurate if you were to make one, the closest thing to one. I guess it's pretty fair. So, yeah, no, I mean, it's like Verena's one of those fighters who she's going to do the same thing every time, and you just gotta, it's whether or not you can stop it. And, I think we know that Whaley can probably very likely do that at this point. As much as, again, I love them both, and the Xiaonan fight, you guys know I love both of them. Another bittersweet matchup for me. So sucks that one has to lose tonight, but Xiaonan ended up getting her shot. So I guess I'm kind of pulling for Verena just in the case of, I want her to fight for the title. I want her to get the opportunity she deserves. So, and I am spoiler. I am picking that she will win also. So yeah. Shout outs to Gimoto or Gilamoto for giving me a little retweet there and letting people know. If you are here, Gilmoto, let yourself be known. Let's see, where are we now? Rio says, shifting gears, will Chandler get a title shot if he wins? He might get one if he loses. Not so sure about that. About either of those. No, I would be absolutely stunned if Michael Chandler gets a title shot in any case after tonight. I don't think that's going to happen whatsoever. No. I've seen this chatter about kind of these weird domino potentials, right? And I know that Ilya Tapuria did an interview like today or yesterday or something that came out. But I've seen people talking about like a lot will depend. This is what people believe, I guess. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but a lot of things depending on the welterweight title fight at UFC 315, right? So the next one, Bilal versus Jack Della. If Jack wins, then that opens the door for Islam to bounce and be like, deuces, I want 2 titles, which he's been insanely vocal about and wanting to do. And I would assume he would keep his title. Like, he wouldn't vacate. I don't know. I guess it's hard to say. I guess he hasn't really indicated specifically what he would want to do. But if that happens, Islam goes up, tries to win the title against Jack, and then we have Topuria fighting for interim or vacant lightweight against Chandler or Patty. I guess that's the only hope. That's the only hope Michael Chandler has, Rio. The only hope. And I do think Chandler's going to win again. You can, again, check that out on my preview at uncrowned.com, specifically why, or if you want me to tell you why here, I can give you a little cliff notes of it as well. But, I think Chandler's going to pull it off. But I think what I just laid out there is his only chance and hopes of fighting for the title. But, like, if everything stays the same, no way. There's, like, no way you can't possibly. It's impossible to justify. Patty, I mean, don't be stunned. Don't be stunned. I mean, they want to get to the Ilya fight somehow. They will do that, I think, depending on how shit works out with him. Because how crazy is it that Patty and Ilya is now a thing for real this time? James asks, did the GFL spend all their money on making that AI video? That's why they cancel. God, I sure fucking hope not, because if they did spend a lot of money on that, then I might throw up. Oh, God. Oh, God. Go says, if I was the promoter of the PFL, I'd say we have some good fighters. Our pay-per-views aren't that expensive, and we have Bellator's roster so we can make cool fights. Quick pause, Ghost. Pay-per-views aren't that expensive. Sometimes 50. Sometimes they are, actually. You got to say, compared to the UFC, we're not as expensive as the UFC. Still expensive. But like a pay-per-view for the PFL should be like $20 at most, usually, unless the card's nuts. But you're on the right track there. I like that, what you're saying with how you would promote it. I think that's fair. Do I feel Don is acting like he's Pepsi when he's actually Signature? I think that's actually a pretty goddamn good comparison. That's pretty good. Ghost says, you said hope. My first MMA coach ever said hope is not a strategy. Do you like that saying? That is very good. That is very good. Yeah. Hope is not a strategy at all. It's a gamble. It's kind of self-explanatory for the definition of hope, but yeah, hope is not at all a strategy. I mean, again, if you want to apply that like strictly to a fight, hoping you land the big shot is not a strategy. That's just waiting for the opportunity to come without making it happen, right? Or opening up the window for it to happen. Doing something to help it. It's not just going to come if you don't make it happen. Do anything to get there. So that's very good. I like that. I like that saying indeed. Yeah. James says, how surprised are you that Ghost and his co-host Jesse actually used the Dylan K lookalike meme on their podcast? That was quite wonderful. Well done, gents. That was funny. I did appreciate that. And man, it is it's just funny. It is. Yeah, that was well done. That was well done. But I told Ghost this, and I don't know if I told you guys either, but Jesse, he looks so much like, and I don't know if I've told you about this friend I have either, Ghost, like if you remember the name Gannon. Shout outs to my boy Gannon back home, one of my best friends since like early high school. Him and Jesse look so fucking similar to me. They both have mustaches. Like the hair is pretty similar, their face shape, like It's very, very funny. I need to show you guys what Gannon looks like, because him and Jesse are doppelgangers. So I got Dylan, and then they have each other, and it's every time I see him, I'm like, that's fucking looks like Gannon. So shout outs to Ganondorf, as we'll throw at him every now and then. Did we ever talk about Kyoji versus Tagir? Jimmy was fuming in the PNY chat when it was announced. No, we did not, Rio, but we can talk about it right now. Yeah. Kyoji Horiguchi returning to the UFC for a fight with Tagir Ulanbekov as his first fight back. The Ryzen flyweight champ. Two-time Ryzen bantamweight champ. Bellator champ. One of the best fighters in the world today. And he gets the number 9 ranked guy? Oh, I mean, we talked a little bit about Kyoji coming back in my Discord. Yeah, I'm not overly insanely pissed about it, and the only reason for that is because a lot of the guys at the top are seemingly pretty tied up right now, right? But here's the thing. Right? Kyoji 1,000,000% deserves a title shot out the gate. He was the flyweight champ. I was fine with Kai getting the title shot, right? But Kyoji deserves it more. They both were fine and justified, but Kai was the bantamweight champ coming over, so there was that, the Ryzen bantamweight champ. But Kyoji's was the champ in the same division, so it's way easier of a thing to sell, and maybe they just didn't want to do it back to back, and you can say, oh, but they're teammates. Well, they've agreed that they were happy to fight each other. That's a fight that can and should happen. But instead we're going to go with Kai Kara-France, who, I mean, hey, sure. But again, a guy that Pantoja has already beat, and I don't know, he hasn't stunned me or anything. And is he on a 1-fight win? He's 1 or 2. I know it's not more than 2-fight winning streak. Kyoji Horiguchi undeniably should come right in and fight for the title. Much, much bigger fight than Tagir Ulanbekov, but I'm assuming they're sticking to that idea. That's been kind of rumored to be on the way, the Kai Kara-France one. And I guess that their first fight did happen in the Ultimate Fighter all those years ago, but still, my other suggestion, and I'm pretty sure I told you guys this in the Discord as well, but you want to do something massive and boost a market? Take yourselves back to Japan for the first time in 10 years, right? Headline that fucking card with your 2 immediate biggest Japanese superstars, the guys who are 1-1 in their rivalry. Kai Asakura versus Kyoji Horiguchi 3 UFC Japan main event. You're fucking welcome, dude. You're fucking welcome. And sure, you don't really need to do that first, I guess, is the line of thinking, because they obviously don't have anything set up for Japan. But you do that as quickly as you can. Come on. It doesn't even need the title, because everyone in that country who knows about MMA, or just Kai Asakura because he transcends MMA over there, they're going to be all over that shit. They will watch it just for the story of what those two have had between each other in Ryzen. You took that from the promotion in the country, UFC, and you have it ready-made to go. If they don't cash in on that trilogy fight at any point, complete miss. I'm going to argue even worse than missing Wei Li versus Zhao Nan in China, right? Really the only cool thing about that was 2 Chinese fighters, having fight for the title in China. That's awesome, right? There wasn't really much story to it there in terms of them having a history. This is a fucking trilogy between fucking superstars in Japan. Come on. That is there. You have to do that if you're the UFC. I mean, it it writes itself, and you have plenty of Japanese flyweights now and all that to boot. Like, it would be insane if it was a title fight. Like, let's say Horiguchi takes the belt off Pantoja and then they get to it there, but then it's like, well, Kai's going to have to win by that point. You just make that as soon as possible. It's so easy. So easy. So, yeah. All right. A little bit of a rant on that one. You got me going, Rio. Ghost says Jimmy almost quit MMA a few days ago. He was so mad. What about Kyoji's fight? Jimmy was fuming. Where is he? Where is Jimmy, huh? He's probably still cooling off if that's the case. James says, since Rio did bring up Weili, how would you rank that Suarez performance in her career? Better than the Lemos one? I'd say those were two of her best executed plans. Ooh, wow. That is one of the best questions that we've had in a good while, James. I like that one a lot. Weili's, where would I rank it? Let's look at her record here, just because I want to not forget anything. The Suarez performance. Obviously a great one, but I want to give you guys a thorough answer here. Look at everything on Weili's resume. So Tatiana, pretty good. The Lemos one, yeah, that was good. I mean, Carla performance. The Joanna rematch. Andrade is like, that one's like too quick to say the best performance, right? Like that's, you could maybe just say the best win because of the speed and what it was, right? Jessica Aguilar performance was pretty phenomenal. Again, a shorter one though, in terms of like an overall fight. Yeah. I think Lemos was probably the better one. Rio, or that was James. Sorry about that, mixing you guys up. I think the Lemos one, just because it was more dominant, right? Like, sure, Weili beat Suarez convincingly and dominant as well, but like she lost the first round. Like that was pretty obvious there. Whereas against Lemos, what I guess some people, I don't remember if I scored a round for her, but one judge gave Lemos a round, which I don't even remember which one that would have been. Maybe the third. What did she like? She like clipped Weili with a good shot at one point, right? But that was about it. I think the Lemos one kind of overall was just more dominant, and yeah, I don't remember if, I'm kind of curious to see how I scored that one. I haven't watched that one in a good bit, but I think when you look at it that way, probably. But those are both good shouts, and yeah, very well executed. But I understand cases for both. Got some zingers today. Yeah. Will Netflix get the UFC deal? Boy, I feel like they got to be the front runner in some kind of capacity. My whole thing is, right, like let's look at WWE and the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson spectacle. Like free events, right? I can't imagine UFC is going to, I mean, it would be incredible for them to drop pay-per-views, but I just can't imagine that they will do it, right? Even though there's been the rumors that the pay-per-view numbers haven't been doing well. That just seems so crazy to think about. So I think if it was like, and this has been discussed, where it would be maybe a double thing where, let's say, fight nights go to Netflix and then the pay-per-views stay on ESPN or some shit like that, which that would kind of suck because obviously ESPN Plus is a terrible goddamn app. It just does not work very well. It's gotten like worse over the years, which I don't know how that that happens, but yeah. not great. So I don't think Netflix would do a pay-per-view type thing. Even though I might be forgetting, I feel like they've done some type of pay-per-view thing before for like single events, but I just I can't imagine the UFC fully dropping that. But you would have to think that Netflix has got to be pretty in the race with the ties for TKO. James says we need to get Jesse Drake and Dylan K on the same podcast. Mustache Game United. Holy fuck, that would be a lot of glorious stash action. I think we need to make that happen for sure, James. That would be that'd be too much stash to handle. Good lord, we would all look like we're out of the fucking 70s. Oh man, I even got my comb here on the ready, on the handy, to keep it nice and in check there. This is my full size one too. Not my pocket comb, which that is also a thing. Let's see. James got into an argument a couple of days ago. He was saying fight fans need to stop complaining about the UFC because their fights happen every week. He said, if you don't like it, don't watch. Do I understand why there's so many fans that like to bootlick and say vote with the remote when there are problems with the current product? So, I mean, that's kind of a tricky kind of thing to tackle. And I mean, we've talked about that in the past for sure, James. I know that we have. And like, that's true. You know, if you know that it's bad, or like if you aren't interested in it, don't watch it. Hate watching is stupid, you know, and I'm not saying like that's what is happening in the UFC these days is a bunch of hate watchers and whatnot, but like if the product sucks, why would you watch it, right? It's like with any form of entertainment, if you know there's something coming out, whether it's a show or a movie or whatnot, or a game that you're not interested in, why put yourself through the misery or force yourself to do it? And I know it's different with sports because you don't know how it's going to be in terms of like anything is kind of possible and it's live and all that shit, but it's on both, right? If you want to try and make it better, don't feed it. But at the same time, I mean, it's so tricky with the situation with UFC though, because they're the only ones, right? It's like they just own the fucking game, to whereas without the competition, they don't need to change anything. We are still going to watch. So that's then why it's like on you to not watch so that they try and get better to make you come back. But even with like the worst of sports, when there's only the one top dog around, they can just go on for as long as they can because they're the only one doing it, you know? So it's very complex type of issue, but I see what you're saying. Rio asks, what's my favorite division in the UFC and what's my least favorite? Ooh, good question. Good question, Rio. So it's been the bantamweight division for like a long time is my favorite, but I don't know, bantamweight's gotten kind of weird recently, and we're obviously having this title fight rematch coming up that is just kind of like shouldn't be happening, obviously. But let me look at them all. My favorite division right now with the least favorite. I mean, flyweight fights are always super fun time. Always enjoy those. Of course, lightweight is an easy one. Really getting kind of interesting in the back 15 range. I know we love middleweight for how stupid it is. Kind of the same as I wouldn't say that about light heavyweight. I think my favorite division is still bantamweight. Yeah, I love the bantamweight division, even though it is gotten a little bit weird lately. There's still so many great fighters and matchups that get made in that one. Even though featherweight is obviously very interesting right now too, with Ilya leaving, and then I mean with Ilya and Max leaving to lightweight, it's like Lightweight is going to get some very, very interesting matchups soon. But least favorite division, though, is the heavyweight division. Not even a question. Easily fucking garbage. Complete ass. Shit. Terrible. I'm sorry. Like, you know, it might not be worse than women's bantamweight. Those two are there. They're pretty similar. There's less people at bantamweight, I think, and the back end of that one is just rough time. Nora Cornell is kicking off UFC 314 tonight in the first fight, and she's ranked number 13. But like, heavyweight is just fucking trash, dude. Like, I don't even care. I'm gonna say it, but like, it's staggeringly bad. And like, there is nothing. If you're looking at the rankings, it's like only the top 7 guys are, I don't even want to say good, because Sergey Spivak's in there. And I'm kind of going against my own thing that I said about Diego Lopez at the start of this show. But it's like you look at the top 7 and then everyone below, and you're like, okay, yeah, none of these dudes below number 7 are going to beat the top 7. And then you look at the guys, the 7, 6, 5, you know, they're just not going to beat the top 4 or the top 5. I guess this is the top 8 because Jones isn't counting here. But it's so bad. And it's so fucking annoying to see these shitty fucking unranked fights thrown onto main cards and stuff like that. I can't stand it. It's the dumbest shit ever. Yeah. Ghost says, Dan Tom on one of his podcasts, on his one-off podcast, said a cool thing about style, that style can be influenced by your fighter's personality. What's your opinion on that? I think that can be accurate sometimes for sure. I mean, look at a guy like, this is an insanely extreme example that just came to mind, but I was going to say, look at Charles Crazy Horse Bennett. There you go. That guy he lives how he is, I guess, in every facet. Look at a guy like him. Look at a Diego Sanchez. Look at fucking. There was another good example I just had. Robbie Lawler's a good one. No, not so much because he's more stoic, but just kind of a killer. I guess he works. There are definitely some of those guys. Indeed, Ghost. Unlike a Sean Strickland is like the opposite of that. Right? So, yeah. Ghost says Jesse and him will be doing Fight Mind where we talk about styles and its misconceptions. Okay, that's a fun one. Look forward to that. Cool. Ooh, here we go. Some video game chatter. We love it. James asks, any cool games I'm getting into? Great question, James. So, yeah, I know I haven't done any real legit game streams lately. And I was going to do one because I just finished the newest Life is Strange game. And if you guys know what Life is Strange is, it's a franchise, a story game franchise where like it's got a bunch of unique outcomes, and like every decision you make kind of impacts the story and where it goes. And I fucking love games like that, and I fucking adore and love the franchise. But this is the fourth main game in the main set of games, and it's a sequel to the first one, where the middle two are like different anthology type of games. I think that's the word I'm looking for. But since it's a sequel, I was like, I don't know if I want to stream this one, just because like for you guys, it's a game where I would say like I want everybody to play the first one. So if I spoil that for you with any little bit of spoiling, that's going to bother me, because I'm like, everybody should fucking experience the first game. It's one of those games where every time I play it or see like certain scenes, I fucking cry, dude. Like, I love Life is Strange 1 is a story masterpiece in gaming, just in general, fucking perfection. So I just beat the newest game, which I didn't even know was a game until I jumped on Steam and saw there was a sale. I was like, what? I gotta get this now. Bought it right away, and then I started it up, and it took me a couple sessions to get through, but solid. Not on the same level, but I still enjoyed it. It was a good one, so I just beat that. So now I need my next one, and I'm not sure what to get into, you guys. I'm not sure what one I'm going to jump into next, James. Bayonetta 3 is kind of staring me down. I've been wanting to get into something crazy like Bayonetta 3. I played the first two, so I am not just jumping in randomly on the third one, but Bayonetta 3 is kind of enticing me. I don't know. I don't have anything. I finished the Cyberpunk DLC recently as well. That was good. Really enjoyed that. I fucking love Cyberpunk. Well, the ending kind of pissed me off. Yeah, the ending pissed me off a fucking lot, actually. So everything was good except for that. I mean, I shouldn't have been surprised, but I know I need a new one to kind of jump into. So might be Bayonetta 3 next. I'm not sure. We will see. Let's see. Bryce Mitchell versus John Silva. Do you think people are looking at that fight for the stuff? Bryce says, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Which is kind of is what it is. You get it to an extent, but yeah, I think the whole controversy definitely helped to draw eyeballs, which Dana is probably loving. Yeah. As Rio says, I read a Kareem Zidane, shout out to Kareem, article that said that Bryce, after saying these things, will be featured on a pay-per-view, and he was right. Obvious, man. Of course. Fucking no-brainer. Like, as disgusting and despicable as it is, it's brilliant business. Smart move. Dana said it that day. If you want to see him get beat up, you're lucky you get to pay and watch it. We'll do that for you. So, like, they're capitalizing on this shitty, ridiculous thing that continues to be shitty and ridiculous because he's still saying some stupid shit. Surprise, surprise. So, yeah, it's not surprising. It's still gross, but it's smart business. And that's all it comes down to. Unfortunately, but yeah, of course, Kareem's a very smart guy. He surely nailed that with the article. What are the standards necessary to get in the UFC Hall of Fame? Great question, James. I think I mean, there's not too many. Be an exciting fighter who Dana likes, right? Still waiting on the Frank Shamrock induction that will never come. So, yeah. The UFC, Ghost says the UFC Hall of Fame is such a funny topic. You guys know it's just part of the staircase in the UFC PI. I got to walk past it almost every day last March. I know a certain strawweight that loves it. Yep. It's not a hall necessarily, is it? But Ghost not a fan. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Rio says, I saw someone said this, but rise of Mick Parkin for the heavyweight division. I don't think so. What is yellow journalism? Is it bad? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that term means. It sounds potentially not great. If I'm being honest there, James, I'm not sure. But Hype is here. What is up, buddy? How you doing? I wish I had the air horn sound effects right here, but good to see you, my man. How late are you? We are an hour in, driving, totally making it to the pay-per-view. Are you going, Hype? Are you physically going? Are you in Miami in the 305? Shout outs to you if so, but yeah, we are an hour in here. James asking, do I know why Patty versus Iron Mike is a 5-rounder? Both have sus cardio, but at least we know Chandler can make it to the 5th round, whereas Patty barely made it to the 3rd round at the Ferguson fight. Yes. I mean, he had some 5 rounders in Cage Warriors, right? I know that much. I think, I mean, it's kind of crazy. You think about this, and I said it in my preview as well. Shameless plug again. Shout out. Go over to OneCrown.com to check it out. UFC 314 preview. It's kind of wild that the UFC hasn't given Patty a main event spot yet, like on a fight night or anything. But I think this is just maybe kind of testing the waters out there, or at least give him that experience in the UFC. I don't really think it helps him in the matchup at all. It's not something I overly considered when predicting the fight, but I think it's just kind of, give him sort of a main event without a main event type of situation there, James. And, Chandler's always game to kind of do whatever he's asked of, I guess. Ghost says, does the sport need more cynical voices like myself? In terms of your voice, Ghost, I would prefer you over some of them. And you know the ones I'm alluding to. Rio asks, do I like morning UFC cards? It depends on how early we are talking, my man. Like, I think 11, that's pretty perfect. That's a pretty good, even 10:30-ish, that's pretty good time for me. But anything earlier than that, I'm kind of like, I might catch the prelims on a replay. So, yeah, I'm just not that's me. I'm not a morning person in general, as you guys know. So, yeah, anything in the morning, I'm not a huge fan of. Let's see. James asking, does a blue check mark pay a lot? I'm still missing like one of the boxes that you need to check off to get paid on Twitter. So I don't get any money from my blue check mark. That'd be nice, but I know it's not like a lot. But yeah, I don't qualify yet for however that shit works. I'll have to look at that. But I'm about to I don't know. I'm questioning keeping it. But I love TweetDeck. That's just the thing, is I love TweetDeck so much that I think I'll lose that if I get rid of it. So I'm not sure. I can't answer that. I don't qualify. James, I don't qualify. Hype says, me making it was a terrible attempt at a joke of me crashing my car. Okay, that's not funny at all, Hype. Be careful. Drive safe. You bastard. Don't do that. That is not funny at all. Oh, man. Rio asks, did we ever talk about the new Bloody Elbow where they are farming clicks over substantive articles? That Donald Crosby got mad at me for saying negative stuff about them, saying that I'm not smart if I don't read his stuff. Holy shit. So his name's not Donald Crosby, but that is his name to us now, Rio. I fucking love that you just said that. I'm always going to think of him as Donald Crosby. So that's my favorite thing now. Donald Crosby. That is good. We might have briefly talked about it in the Discord, maybe. Or like when shit happened, when they did change ownership and all that stuff. I mean, it was obvious. We knew that like right away with the fucking, the very questionable AI authors and stuff that they had going on there. So like, yeah, it was just like it was an immediate kind of shift that they had, which is incredibly sad. And, a hit to MMA. So now we need people picking up the slack, and we do our best over it Uncrowned as well. So shameless plugs all around today, baby. Yeah, but it is a bummer to see how Bloody Elbow changed. But yeah, that's pretty silly if Mr. Crosby did say that. And if you see this, if he sees this, we're cool. But I mean, at least in my interactions I've had with him. But yeah, that's a silly thing to say. Ghost asks, is Uncrowned better than the Red website that you used to work at? I accidentally mentioned that Red website in a Q&A. In mine or a different one, Ghost? How dare you? How dare you? But here we go with the personal questions now. Let's see. How can I answer this properly? Or the way that I want to at this moment. I think yes. Overall, yes. And for me, yes, I feel like I'm learning and growing 10 times more than I did and was in all my time there. And that's for very specific reasons in terms of people around me, I guess you could say. And that's not, I'm not trying to knock in that sense, but that's just how things are organized and run, I guess, which everyone does their own things differently, and respect to that. The Red Place does things, they do certain things better for what they're going for. And in other ways, we do ours better as well. I'm I'm trying to be very, I guess, PC with this just because I'm like, I've got all that energy out of me, right, Ghost? So I'm like, and all of my I wasn't salty until the shit that happened afterwards, right? Like it was what it was, how everything happened and all that was what it was. It was just the afterwards that was fucking stupid. It was like nothing with the working specifically. But yeah, I'm enjoying everything way more. It's a lot more fulfilling feeling in a lot of ways. The only thing that I'm kind of missing is like, having a podcast with Alex and stuff like that. That's really the only big thing that kind of gets me sometimes, but that's a thing that we can still do. It's just, we wouldn't get paid for it unless we figured out something there. So, and I mean, that's the big thing too, is that I'm doing a lot more video content, as you guys have noticed, but other than that, it's like not a huge deal, and I can just go on here whenever I want, which is nice. A lot more freedom, I guess, and, control of my stuff, which that works nicely too. James says, if Manon beats Valentina, do they just do Weili versus if Veer do her versus Weili? Because Jan needs to do more. You kind of phrased that very confusingly, James. So let's see. So if Furo wins, they just do Weili versus Verna. Just do it if... So, I mean, let's just look at it this way. If Furo wins, I could still see Weili fighting her even, no matter what, just because of the flyweight title aspect. Especially, let's say Zhao Nan wins. I don't know. I'm not sold on her getting a title shot again that quickly. I really am not. Wouldn't expect that to happen. I mean, you could argue and justify it. She'd be like, really the only person, but I don't know. That doesn't... I think they would definitely go for the flyweight title fight first, regardless, no matter what. Yeah. Let's see. It's not just Crosby, but I saw some of the other authors have also bit back. Yeah, I know. There was one guy who when the shift first came, Rio, there was a guy who jumped in my DMs and kind of called me out too, and I was like, yo, dude, listen, I'm saying it how it is. Like, he was trying to say that we at the Red Place did the same shit, and I was like, yo, I know that happens, but I don't fucking do that. Like, I know that our site did do that, but you know damn well that is not a thing that I do. And if it did happen on my stories, I didn't make that headline. So yeah, it's kind of funny how a little bit self-righteous that they have been since. I mean, it's all like Defense Force mode, right? After wiping all the beautiful historic, investigative work that website had on it. It's insane. Hype asking for thoughts on Submission Radio expanding their content and getting different MMA media members to join the show. Hey, I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's fun. Good for Dennis. He's a great guy. Both the Submission Radio guys, him and Casper. I know that they've done the shifting since he left and all that, but it's weird, right? It's kind of weird to see the differences, and I mean, yeah, I think it's fun. It's tough. What they were doing was very impressive, and it's a tough thing to maintain. And I mean, still, like, the double interview format is something that, me and Alex did that a couple times, and even Steve did that with me back in the day, and it's a tricky fucking thing to maneuver. They really, mastered it, obviously, but it's not my favorite thing, right? Like, and that's nothing to do with the other guys, but it's like you have to try and sync up your minds to follow the conversation together and where to jump in at and all that. So that's just my general props to Submission Radio. But yeah, I think it's cool and fun what Dennis has been doing. So it's nice to see him continue to stick around and do his thing too. As Rio asks, do I find it odd that the new BE gets so sensitive when they get called out for using AI? No, I mean, I don't know if I would say I find that odd. I think that just kind of is self-exposure, right? I mean, if you're getting upset about it, then that means it's true. If you're not upset about it, or if you don't react or care, then it's because, like, all right, whatever, people are just being stupid. I mean, that's how I feel. It's like, if you say shit that isn't, you're trying to say something, why is it bothering you if it's not true? I mean, that's a bad way to put it. Scratch that. If it's like, you know what I'm trying to get at, because phrasing it that way, you could really apply that to a lot of things. But yeah, it's like, if you're not getting busted for something, it shouldn't bother you, depending on the context, right? Because, like, again, that can go a lot of different ways. Ghost asks, who would I podcast with on Uncrowned? Pete? I mean, I've only done one so far, and yeah, Pete is a fantastic podcast partner or guy to co-host with. But personally, if I had my choice, I think it would be really fun to do one with Shaheen. Shout outs to my man Shaheen Al Shadi. I think that would be really, really fun. He's great whenever he's on. I mean, all the guys are. Chuck, Ben, shout out to everybody, really. But I think it'd be really fun to do with Shaheen, because, like, we do the least amount of video stuff so far, since we're doing a bunch of writing and all that. But I think we could have a pretty fun show if we were to get on together at some point. That'd be fun. But he's so fucking busy that I know he's probably never gonna have a reoccurring show. That's for sure. At least not right now. So yeah, he's the big editor in chief in charge. So yeah, shouts to my man. All right, James rephrasing. Let me rephrase. What if Manon wins? Does Weili fight Manon, or does she fight Verna if Verna wins today? Okay, so that's kind of what I thought you were saying. It says, I don't think Manon versus Weili isn't a big of a fight, right? Val versus Weili is something that is named Val versus. Yeah, for sure. No, I think you're spot on with that, James. I think that would fully depend on, if Weili is more interested in fighting Valentina rather than the champ versus champ thing. And I think UFC would be happy with either in that sense, right? Like, because with Manon, you don't really need her to be a big name, because she would have the title in that situation, which helps out with everything around that. But yeah, I think that would then just come down to what Weili wants to do, right? Like, I think no matter what, a champ versus champ fight would be bigger than her defending against Verna, and that's, that sucks for me to say about Verna, but that's just true. So, yeah, I think that fully depends on Weili. I think I would actually lean towards Weili probably would defend against Verna, and then you see if Natty Silva beats Grasso next month, there we go. Natty Ice takes on, I mean, she's got to fight for the title against either one of them. I will fucking love that. But yeah, it would be Natty Silva versus Furo in that case. I think that's my future fantasy booking right there. Have I narrowed my MMA content consumption lately? I'm finding it harder and harder to broaden my horizons. Very nice. Very nice with all the algo pushes. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think it's pretty... My consumption's pretty much the same, Rio. Like, all I really watch is the Uncrowned shows, and then, I'll check out Ghosts, shows he's been doing with Jesse, and then MMA fighting. I'll still keep in touch and, check out Mike's shows that he does, whether it's previews or post-fight shows or even BTL every now and then. But that's like about it. Some of James Lynch's stuff every now and then. Shout out to him. But it's pretty same. I narrowed my kind of horizon a good bit ago, so it hasn't changed too much. It might actually have a little bit more just because of all the Uncrowned shows. So Ghost asks, does MMA journalism as a whole have a crab in the bucket mentality? Explain this metaphor to me, Ghost. What does that mean? Crab in a bucket. I haven't heard that term before. What does it mean? Rio asks, do I think that the UFC could buy PFL, at least their best fighters? Legally, no. That would be kind of a big old ordeal. I don't think that would work out. And the company as a whole, I mean, yeah, it would probably cost them a lot. I think that the PFL would be pretty damn stubborn about doing that unless they just fucking, dumped the dump truck at them. Yeah, I don't think we'll have to worry about that one for a little bit, at least for another year. James asks, do I think the MMA fan base is not just toxic, but there are some fans that have a hunger to learn? I would like to think so. I would really like to think so, but I can't confidently say. It feels like those aren't out there as much as they used to be, right? Like, I miss Barton Spackle Crisp. I miss Crumbopoulos Rosen. Shout outs to those guys, the two greatest names to ever appear in our chats, right? Crombie and Barton. I know Ghost still uses either of those names probably for his Chipotle orders. But like, those guys were just admitted how they were kind of new to the sport and everything. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a lot more toxicity, kind of machismo bullshit out there, unfortunately. James asks, do we count as hunger to learn people? I think so. I mean, I feel like maybe you guys have, plateaued a little bit. I'll be honest. I think you guys have learned a lot of what you've wanted to learn and everything. But I don't know. I mean, that's a question. How do you feel? That's kind of a question to spin on you. But I think you're definitely more in that boat for sure. Okay, let's see. Crabs in the bucket means that crabs like to pull each other down so someone can get out and be free. So for people, they like to pull each other down instead of praising success. Ooh. Oh, for journalism. I think nowadays, maybe. I think that's a lot more fair to say nowadays, Ghost, than back a couple years ago. I mean, the journalism community years ago was honestly, very, very supportive, and that seems to have really gone away. And I don't know if that's because there's less people trying to do things the right way. Number one, do things the right way, or just more people trying at all, which I think it's both. Like, imagine some of these fucking clowns who were doing what they do if they tried to approach things properly and actually write and do work rather than clout chase. And I'll leave it at that. Then things would be getting supported a lot more, but it's just like disappeared. Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a really big bummer. So that's an interesting phrase. I like it. Let's see. Rio asking, have I ever been on Ariel's show? No, I have not. I've gotten mentioned. I get mentioned every now and then, which is always flattering and nice of any of the boys to do. But no appearances myself. I mean, hey, maybe after a big story drops or something, he'll want to talk about it on the show. But no invites for me just yet, which is just fine. I don't expect it to come. Obviously, a lot of guests that we need to put on there, bigger and better than me. So have not been on the show yet with the man himself. As Ghost says, yo, let's talk about that for a second. How has hard work been conflated with clout chasing? It is weird, right? Incredibly. It's like it's these people lying to themselves, Ghost, like, and lying to the public, because we know you're not doing fucking hard work at all, obviously, because if you were, these things that you're getting wrong wouldn't be wrong, but they're wrong because you don't care about them being wrong and you just want attention. You're just fucking attention whores. Plain and simple. No matter the case, you don't care about being wrong at all. You are throwing shit out there, pretending like you never miss. I don't know. You never miss a shot, when in fact your percentage is not great or legit, and you get called out by the people that you're talking about quite often. It's weird how that works. Why does that happen? You're working so hard. If you're working that hard, then you might just not be good at it. You might want to try something else. I don't know, man. You do you. There's my PSA for the moment. Or here's another thing. Seek advice and then take the advice. Don't pretend like you know everything. Not to say that I know everything or whatnot, but if you have somebody you look up to or respect, seek their advice, and then if it's not what you wanted to hear, that means it's constructive and you should listen and try and tweak things to be better. If you just be like, oh no, fuck you, why did you say that to me? Well, then you're already in a losing battle. That's just in a general sense. I'm not talking about anybody specific. Oh boy. Rio asking, should the UFC buy Invicta's atomweight? It wouldn't hurt. I would like it. You know, I think we need to get around to the atomweight division in the UFC pretty fucking soon. We're losing Sayaka Izawa years, man. We're losing years. She's beat everybody. There's nobody left for her to fight except for Siwoo Park trilogy. Yeah, we gotta get that fixed. Because Sayaka Izawa, she has said she wanted to retire by 30. So we're getting close. Can you believe it, you guys? You remember when I first mentioned her to you all? Oh my goodness, when she first burst onto the scene 5 years ago. She learned MMA. She found out what it was during the pandemic because she couldn't do judo anymore. Here we are, still waiting. What a career it's been for her, though. But I also don't think Invicta will give up their atomweights, Rio, again, unless the UFC just backed up the dump truck for them. But that would be cool. We joked about this, but Weili's win seems to have put her in a situation where all 115 seems like a joke matchup to her now. I mean, there hasn't been much moving and shaking at strawweight, right? It's gotten pretty stagnant. The water's gotten stagnant. She's beaten a lot of she's beaten all the threats, all the big threats that we could think of, right? Like Verna's really the last one, And yeah, I know she hasn't fought Mackenzie Dern, but if you beat either of those, Mackenzie Dern or Verna, you know what you're going to get out of the other fighter. Not that they're like identical or anything, but you know, like obviously submission wizards and whatnot. So yeah. So Ghost says, see, that's the thing. I might be a smart aleck, but that's why I asked you questions about things I don't understand in the DMs and such. I don't get this high horse business that these clout chasers do. Yeah. People are giving free advice to said clout chasers by people who said they are doing, people who know what they're doing, but they don't want to grow from it. Exactly. It's because they don't fucking actually care. It's because they don't actually want to do that, man. They're either fucking mentally ill and just genuinely aren't able to understand and process and take it in, or like they're all doing it on purpose, right? Like it's all a part of this game. Oh, I'll be friendly with people behind the scenes, yada yada, and then I'll fucking do my thing in public, which that's just life. A lot of people have done that since the beginning of time, right? But yeah. Whenever I mention Dern versus Whaley or Verna versus Whaley, it makes people laugh, or in Ghost and Jesse's case, angry. They are over it. I don't blame them. James asking, is Blue Sky better than Threads? I haven't been on Blue Sky in quite a while now. I'm trying to get more active on Threads. I don't know if you guys have seen. I've been posting a little bit this week, and you know, I'm not gonna lie. The only reason I'm trying to be a little bit more active on there is because of the UFC doing their new partnership and everything. So just for work purposes, really. Otherwise, I wouldn't care so much about it. But I do like how they have the little category thing going on for them, and how the links, they drop the link in there without the you can take the link out, and then there's still the spot you can click. So yeah, I like Threads. I think it's gotten a lot better since when it started, but I haven't been on Blue Sky too much in a good while, and I don't know if I can juggle 3 things. I might just leave it there chilling for the moment, but they all have their own little unique things to them, right? All right, with James's question here on the UFC doing boxing, we will wrap up on that one because we're hitting that sweet 90-minute mark. I think that's good for this one, you guys. I think my laundry should be all done by now, all nice and warm. Okay, real quick, Ghost asking, am I farsighted? Nearsighted. I can only see to like right here without my glasses on. It is bad. It is real bad. Let me see exactly where it is to where that's right there. It's not too terrible, but that's as far as I can see before it blurs. So my vision's not good. Not good at all. But yeah, UFC doing boxing thoughts. I mean, it sounds like a control attempt. You know, it sounds like another Monopoly attempt. I think it will. I'll say this. We'll leave on this note. I think it'll do better than the GFL. But there we go. There we go. Don't know if it'll last too long, but it'll do better than the GFL. So, all right, you guys, we'll wrap it up right there for our UFC 314 little fight day Q&A. This was fun. I need to do more of these. I always love hanging out and just chatting with you guys. Like, it's fun to do the gaming ones every now and then, but it's like, you know, obviously this is all about interactions, just hanging out. So, you know, I'm always trying to be better with it, but sometimes I'm just fucking lazy sometimes, you know, after I work a lot during the week, and I still got to work today, and I'll be covering the events, doing the play-by-play for Uncrowned. So you guys, if you want to see kind of the thoughts and how I'm feeling about round-by-round action and whatnot, my scores and everything, you can follow along at uncrowned.com. We will have the UFC 314 play-by-play, the live blog. I will be in there as the event is going on, so come hang out with me. And of course, we'll be on the platforms as well for social media at DrakeRiggs _ bing bing bing. I think we'll be posting on Threads comments today. Like I said, trying to do better on there. But yeah, so we'll wrap it up there. You guys, appreciate you so much. Thank you for hanging out as always. And yeah, I'll catch you on the flip side when we are around next time. Check out the streak. Latest episode was yesterday. We just let out the January 2024 installment of the streak. It was Machine Head, Fear Factory, and Orbit Culture, all in that one. So there we go. And then believe we'll have a very big story that I've been working on for years, actually. That will be, should be dropping soon. I don't know about this week, but stay tuned for that at Uncrowned as well, you guys. So that was a very fun one, and I'm very excited and glad to finally get it out. So there's your teaser and your shameless plugs. But all right, you guys, stay safe and stay sane. Love ya, and I will see ya when I see you.